Chrebet is magic.
And it's complete for the touchdown. Chrebet, the rookie from Boomer. He grew up in Garfield, New Jersey, 10 minutes from Giant Stadium.
But short of a first down, Chrebet was able to work free. What a move by Wayne Chrebet.
Absolutely unbelievable. You're talking about a kid who is just all heart.
Welcome to the Underdog Jets podcast with Wayne Chrebet and Robbie Sabo. Welcome to the Underdog Jets podcast, and this is a special edition with JetX subscriber meet and greet with Wayne Chrebet. We have, I believe, 5 or 6 JetX subscribers who filled out the application online on the website. You can get it at jetsxfactor.com/podcast/underdog-jets, or just go to the menu item, podcasts at Jets X Factor, and find where you could apply for the next Wayne Chrebet meet and greet. We try to do one of these every 2 or 3 months, depending on demand. And you also get a free 8x10 autographed Wayne Chrebet picture. There are 4 options on the site. For all those who joined us Monday night, thank you. You will be receiving your 8x10 autographed Wayne Chrebet picture very soon. And thanks for using discount code 80 at Jets X Factor. Without further ado, although there's a lot of craziness happening, a lot of roster cuts as we speak, as this episode will be published Tuesday. This is the Wayne Chrebet meet and greet, where we talked a lot of memories, talked a lot about the past, and even got into a lot in terms of the current team, as some of the top Jets and top Wayne Chrebet fans in the world had an opportunity to chat with number 80. Liz, I know you're number 1 Wayne Chrebet fan, so why don't you kick it off?
Thanks so much. Hi, everybody. Hi, Wayne.
Hi.
Super excited after the win yesterday. I'm really liking what I'm seeing in our quarterback there, which they're kicking around on the internet today. Second string, third string. You know, how are you feeling about him, and what are your thoughts about the game yesterday? How he did? He looks amazing to me. And
which quarterback are you talking about?
Stravler, right?
Yeah, can't pronounce his name after the long day.
Stravler,
Scrivener, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Stravler, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I've seen. I didn't get to see the whole game in its entirety, but keeping going back to the statistics on what he did when he was in there, and what the score was when he got in there. I mean, he's showing a lot of talent. He's definitely taking control of the situation and taking advantage of it, the chances he's been given. But is there any word on Zach's definitely not ready, obviously, but how long that Zach will be out, or they just they want to be 100% at this point, Robbie?
It's still up in the air. I mean, he looks good. He was riding the bike yesterday before the game on the sideline. So my best guess is he'll definitely miss week 1.
So who's the odd man out? Who's the odd man out? Mike White?
I think it kind of Stravler would be in a better situation if Wilson was healthy, right? Because Flacco could back up. They'd feel comfortable. Flacco is the backup, and maybe they'd trade Mike White, and Stravler could be the number 3. But if Wilson can't play and is on the active roster, I anticipate Stravler going to the practice squad and Mike White being the backup for week 1.
He might get picked up on practice squad. That's the only thing. Quarterbacks start thinning out and moves are made. At this point, they wait to see guys hit practice squad or the wire to pick up that 3rd or 4th quarterback to kind of develop them, I guess you could say.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, someone mentioned to me yesterday they could kind of see a Taysom Hill situation with him. And again, it would work, but it's tough to rely on him as the pure backup, even for 1 week. So that's
where's he from?
That's a good. He stood out in the CFL.
Yeah,
he's
he's
been
been
winning the
so
Grey
he's not
Cup.
young. So he's not young.
He's still somewhat young. He's just not, 22. He's 27.
27.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm. Well, I just kind of rolled into my question because of the game yesterday, and I was real happy to be there and see us take a win over that other team that supposedly plays at our stadium. But I wanted to know, Wayne, seriously, out of your three boys, do they all play football?
My oldest at Georgetown, he's more of an academic. Cade's a freshman at Catholic University, which is also in Washington, D.C., which is cool that they're like 10 minutes apart. And
That's
my
awesome.
10-year-old boy plays flag football and says he has no interest in playing tackle. But they all had to wait till high school if they wanted to play tackle. So he might change his mind by then. But yeah, big soccer player, flag football, basketball. So I'm just excited that Cade's playing at Catholic. Gives me 4 more years to cheer him on. And he had a scrimmage at Johns Hopkins the other day. Took a ride down there with my father. So I'm excited about that. But whichever path they choose, I'm okay with.
Absolutely. That's great. As long as they're happy and healthy, that's all that matters.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Great.
All right, Mr. Joe Rivera, you're up next. Do the honor.
Hi, Wayne. I'm Joe. I've worked in sporting news for 7 years now, but I've been a lifelong Jets fan. So this is very exciting. So, first of all, thank you for the memories growing up and introducing me in a way to the Green Lantern. So I really appreciate that.
How old are you?
I'm 31. I'm 31. So
I retired 7. So you were 14 when geez.
Yeah.
All right. So those your years when you started watching football. Gotcha. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Wayne
Yes,
could do
sir.
math.
And
Wayne's pretty good at math, by the way.
Hey, man, quick.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah. So obviously, growing up and playing Fearless, it's watching you play Fearless. It sticks out in my mind more than a lot of Jet players. So thank you again. My question for you, and I'm sure you get this a lot, and you've probably discussed this a lot, but obviously with Braxton Berrios now, you hear a lot of comparisons to you as different players, but the grittiness, the toughness. How do you kind of take those comparisons, and do you feel like you both are alike? You're both dissimilar. How do you kind of take those comparisons? What does that mean to you?
No, it's great. It's nice to be compared to someone that's doing well, making a name for himself. Same situation, just need an opportunity. People get hurt, other things happen. It just seems every year since I left there's been is this guy the next Wayne Chrebet? Maybe because they're a slot receiver from a small school. Obviously, any white kid that's come on in the last 15 years, it's the next guy. And it hasn't happened. But the closest thing I've seen, just based on play and grittiness and toughness and football IQ, is him. I know a lot of the comparisons are made on the guys Belichick brought along with Welker and Amendola and Edelman and guys like that. But Berrios, he's a great talent. I'm glad they paid him to stay. I'm glad he stayed. A lot of guys get a little taste of success and they go to greener pastures, which means more money. But he's a fan favorite. And I think it was smart for him to stay, and he has a good rapport with Zach. So I like the comparison, and I'm humbled by it.
What kind of piggyback questions, real quick, if you don't mind? When on the business side of things, when you see a general manager like Joe Douglas identify that Berrios is a guy that kind of needs to stay, maybe previous regimes haven't put that much of an emphasis on kind of keeping your own. I know Berrios came up with different teams, but when you see Douglas put the emphasis on, hey, we need to keep that guy, what does that mean to a player?
It means a lot. Not a lot of guys get to play their whole career with the same team like me. Like you said, but like I said, a lot of guys just get that success and all right, where can I go get the most money? But that's just the nature of the business. Careers are short. You try to get paid when you can. But, he's betting on himself with the 2-year deal. But I think Berrios realizes, what it means to be a crowd favorite and to succeed in New York. This market, more money he can make off the field compared to if you went to the smaller markets. But yeah, Joe's doing a good job with that, and I think that was important to keep him, and they might made the right moves in making him happy, making both sides happy, which doesn't always happen. So the team's happy, the player's happy with the contract. So Joe Douglas did a great job.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Next up is Tim, a subscriber, and I actually played high school ball with Tim. He was center and D tackle, one of the toughest guys on the team. Huge Jets fan. So I've known this for a long time. Actually, the morning after the Monday Night Miracle, one of our good friends was a Dolphins fan, and it was ugly at lunchtime. We gave it to him all day, and it really hit the high point at lunchtime. He had enough. So Tim, take it away.
Just nice to be here. Wayne, it's nice to meet you. Huge fan for forever since the beginning. So,
Right.
Robbie and I used to play. Robbie had, like you, the heart of a lion when he played. So, a defensive guy though. I'm more defensive, right?
Yeah,
Robbie,
I didn't have the hands. I just
more defense
couldn't get it
though,
done
but
with the
still
hands.
that lion heart, no fear type of thing. So, but
Robbie served a mean glass of water, huh?
Yeah.
So-
I was only 50% gray 20 years ago too.
Go ahead, Tim. Sorry to interrupt you. Go
No,
ahead.
it's good. So I just wanted to. I was gonna ask about the whole Barrios thing too. The guy he shows up like at the right time all the time, making plays, and he does remind me a lot of you, watching you growing up and stuff. But I don't know if anybody had touched on like the whole Hall of Fame thing that's going on with Klecko, and Darrelle Revis coming up might be like a first ballot type of guy.
Yeah.
And I had heard that we're gonna have maybe like we'll have the most guys in there. Is that true? And what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's finally for Joe Klecko. I mean, he made the Pro Bowl 4 positions. He's intense, great player, smart player, and he played his whole career with the Jets, right?
Yeah.
So
He might have been 1 year at the end, but yeah, pretty
okay.
much.
But I mean, he's known as a Jet, and if you get Revis in the same class, I guess you would assume that the Jets will have the Hall of Fame game, right? Would that make sense?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
make sense, yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I'm a big fan of Joe Klecko. I watched him growing up, the sack exchange and all that stuff. And as far as Revis, I mean, yeah. I mean, he should be in first ballot. So to have two guys, from one organization in the same year, it's great for the fans. I know Revis is getting into the Ring of Honor this year, so I'm sure he'll get a nice. The fans love him. I know he's went back and forth, to other teams, but he had his best years with the Jets. So you can't ask for a better situation than getting one new guy, one old guy, added, getting their gold jackets in Canton this year.
Yeah, and Klecko, it's just one of those situations with the sack numbers. He put up a lot of sacks before it became an official stat in 82. So, Pro Bowler at all three positions. Pretty much nose tackle, D end, and D tackle. So he should be in. He's one of those guys that should have been in a long time ago, and I think it's finally going to happen.
I remember telling the story, hearing that, like on first and goal, team going in, he just fire off and just smash everybody, all sides. He didn't care because they're just moving up 6 inches.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Smart play.
He used to do stuff like that. It just, just was a force against some of the offensive lines they had back then. And like I said, he did it, inside and outside. And I definitely think we needed a representative from the sack exchange in there.
Yeah, nobody will ever wear number 73 again. That's for sure. Or 80.
Yeah, no way.
I don't know, man. At this point, they kind of messed up. I don't know if they can give it away. I mean, I know everybody else is, Wesley had his number given away in L2 and, Klecko for some time, but I don't, I was grateful that they didn't give it away. But at this point, I'm like, what are they going to do? Mm-hmm. I think that Wesley and Toon for certain should have their numbers retired before mine was, for sure. So I don't know what they're going to do. I think we were different kind of players to the organization. I know Wesley, we're close, and Toon made the Pro Bowls, Wesley made the Pro Bowls, but I don't know. We're just different. We meant different things to the organization at different times in different eras in our career,
Yeah, and football's tough with the retired numbers too. Like compared to the Yankees, I grew up a Yankees fan, but it drove me nuts how many guys' numbers are retired.
Yeah.
And in football it's tougher because there's a lot more guys on the roster. But I agree.
But now guys can wear the teens, they can wear the single digits, so you're not going to run out of 80 numbers. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, it's all over the place. Tom Brady was not a fan of that move. And he was quite vocal with the New Jersey number move when they allowed anyone to wear any number. He cited something about strategy, and everyone just kind of blew it off like, "Shut up, Tom." And I'm sure.
There's they're looking at the defense, and it's a weird one. The linebackers aren't 50 numbers because they're pointing out the mic, they're pointing out different positions, and I can see how it'd be a little confusing when you got a safety coming down or a D end and they're both wearing number 8 and 9, where, but the hell with Tom Brady. I'm just saying it could be confusing.
That's how Quan Alexander, number 9, blew up that Giants running back 2 days ago or yesterday.
That's a big hit, man. I was happy when they brought him in, and that's a good pickup.
Yeah. He's going to be the second linebacker for sure.
Gotcha.
All right, Jeff. Thanks, Tim. Jeff Piazza, take it away. Any relation to Mike Piazza, by the way?
Well, we could say that if we want, but
okay.
I don't know if that's true.
You're his nephew. Go ahead.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me, guys. Wayne, huge fan, huge fan. Used to pretend to be you in the backyard when I was a little boy. So, but
how old are you?
30 actually.
All right.
So I was young, but I remember the enjoyable times. Yeah. But I guess my question would be, obviously your career came, a little short. Was there ever a time before that where, something happened, an injury or a certain hit that maybe you thought, okay, I'm going to hang it up before you actually did? Or did that kind of just happen right then and there?
No. So it was always an issue. So 11 was my last year. So after my ninth year, I got a bad one at the end of the year. I don't know. That might have been, what was 2003? Is that the year we lost to the Steelers?
2004 season.
So whenever it happened, I think I was done. I didn't even go back on the team bus. I kind of drove home with my parents, and I gave my dad my jersey. So I figured it was my last jersey, and I wasn't feeling right mentally, physically, psychologically, nothing about it. I was off real bad. And then I waited a little while, and I talked to my family, I talked to my wife, and I was just like, I think I want to go back. So I never told that to anybody at the time, so they weren't waiting on the decision. And I tell you what, I went back, and when I went out to practice, it was like the grass was never greener, the sky was never bluer. I enjoyed the young guys more. I enjoyed watching the film. I enjoyed every aspect of it. Like I was just soaking it in because I knew I was closer to the end than to the beginning. So I came back and I got a year or two after that. And then at the end, I had no choice. They retired me before I even left the stadium after my last game. They didn't give me a choice, and I never went back. They packed up my locker and mailed it to me because I didn't want to go back to the complex. I wasn't right in the head. So I'd say after year 9, I thought I was done, but I got 2 more years after that. To answer your question.
Thank you.
Yeah, 2003 was the down year after where Chad got hurt in preseason against the Giants. And then 2004 was Pittsburgh, Doug Bryan. Yeah. And then 05 was your last year.
Yeah. So you never know, I'm just saying, people don't know stories like that. That's why I like doing stuff like that, just to give you guys, an idea of some of the things maybe you haven't read in the paper, like more of the behind the scenes kind of stuff.
Yeah, we did a few podcasts detailing that last game and some of that stuff after. We probably will revisit that later down the road, maybe. But yeah, hey, in football, it's not like basketball or baseball. The decade of playing is absurd. I mean, let's be honest. So, I mean, that's a full career.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, what do you got for us today?
Thank you for having this whole thing, guys. This is awesome. Wayne, obviously a huge fan. I'm 33. Just want to put that out. So I knew you're going to ask.
So everyone,
I'm just curious.
Everyone's younger than me.
You are. Yeah. At what point you are in your Jet fandom when I was in my prime to the end of my career.
Yeah. I mean, similar to these guys I already said, I was acting like Wayne out in like the field. I even had a choice before coming. I was like, how hard do I actually fan tonight? So I threw on your jersey just for old time's sake. It's a little bit more yellow than it is white now, but it's all right.
Looking at all your stuff in the background, you got, I know that's Curtis bottom right.
Yeah. They got Coles behind me here. I got you behind me there. Leon to my left here. Yeah.
You got all the figurines.
Oh, very nice, huge fan, man. And you made so many great like plays and moments for us fans. Like, is there one play or game that kind of stands out to you? Maybe I know there's always the big ones like, Monday Night Miracle and things like that. But what's something maybe off of that radar of like the bigger games that we all know of that really stood out to you as something that was a special moment for you?
Yeah, typically people talk about the Tampa game, the halfback pass. People talk about the Monday Night Miracle. Those are easy things. But one thing that I remember the most was just because of the situation, but being a huge Jets and Giants fan growing up and going to the stadium. Yeah, you can be both. I believe you can be a Yankee Met fan, you can be Jet Giant. But you have to make a choice when they play each other. You can't just say, "Oh, I hope for a good game." That's stupid. So the thing about I don't know what year it was, is when we went from not being able to make the playoffs. Then all that stuff happened. Miami beat New England or vice versa. And then all of a sudden our game meant if we won, we won the AFC East. So it's just a situation where we're on the sideline. We're going to play hard. And we're listening. The fans are telling us what's going on in the game. The team's driving. They're going to go for a field goal. And I'm getting chills. If you watch it, you hear like a big, like crazy, amount of noise in the stadium. And we knew what it was. And you could listen on the TV, on the videos on YouTube. And all of a sudden you hear the fans, and then they show what happened with the field goal making. And at that point we knew, wow, we have dodged a bullet here. We are in a situation here. And it was the kind of thing where 53 guys locked arms and like no one was going to take it away from us, And we put it on Green Bay, and they were playing for home field advantage for a home game. So it's not like they just, mailed it in. So I know I had 2 touchdowns in that game at the end, and I don't know. It's just the situation and the elation and just knowing all the time in the off season and training camp, and it just paid off. And we weren't sure it was gonna. So that was one of my favorite games as far as with the fan interaction and with the team and the brotherhood. So that kind of always stands out. And then I know we won the next week, I think, playing the Colts. So we didn't win it that year, but that moment was special.
Yeah, that was 2002. It was we play to win. You play to win the game season with Chad coming in, and you guys started 1-4, I believe, and then 2-5, and only for one day, Jets fans were Tom Brady and New England Patriots fans because they did you guys the big favor that weekend, and it was 2 straight home games. I'd never heard Giant Stadium that loud that night against Green Bay. And I mean, it's not even a close second, but it's a second. It was 2009 against the Patriots, Rex Ryan's first home game. Those are the 2 loudest I ever heard Giant Stadium.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're watching a game and also you hear like crazy, noise and usually that's because there's a fight in the upper deck.
Yeah, you got to look around. Like
you're looking around, you go, why is this noise going on? But it was insane. The way we beat. I mean, we beat him by what, 30 points maybe? It was.
Yeah, and he crushed Peyton the next week.
Yeah, it was just an ass whooping, and I was just happy to be a part of it.
All right, Ryan Delaney. For those who don't know, he runs a Jets YouTube channel, Friends with Jets X Factor, also a subscriber. Take it away, my friend.
Hey, Wayne, thanks for doing this. This is awesome. Thank you, Robbie. Wayne, I cried when you retired. It's never happened to me before with an athlete or anything like that. And it was just something that was so special. Some of the childhood moments growing up. I'm 32, just like some of these other guys here.
And so just a disclaimer. I didn't create this thing to make me and you feel old, by the way, Wayne. It just so happens everyone's young 30s.
40 next month.
Okay.
Dude, I'm gonna be 50 next year.
And
next
Liz,
I'm gonna be 50. That's
Liz,
crazy.
I know you're 23, so we all know that already.
I could say 32 too, but I was 32 in 1995. Just saying.
Right,
so
join us.
You think you feel young? You think you feel old? Talk to me.
All right, sorry, Ryan. Go for it.
No, it's all good. It's cool to hear you say that that game meant a lot to you, because that was probably. I was lucky enough to be at the Monday Night Miracle, and my dad and I had season tickets, from, I want to say it was like 94, 95 through the beginning of MetLife. And to see, I remember that game so vividly, where it was just like, oh man, the crowd's silent. We're watching the field goal go up. The guy's got it on his headphones, sitting next to me, and we're all like listening to it. And then just watching the players like look around, like what just happened? And the stadium felt like it was going to implode. I was up in like section 300. So it was like, it was just a lot of fun. But I guess question wise, Denzel Mims, wide receiver. We got a really good wide receiver room for the first time in what feels like a forever. What do you think is going to ultimately end up happening with him? Do you think it's going to be some sort of trade? Carolina just made a trade for Laviska Shenault, so that kind of takes them out of the equation. Do you think he's retained for the next 2 years, or do you think we try to move him at some point, maybe before the deadline?
Robbie, what did they say as far as trading him? I don't know.
His agents,
they're not going to make the guy suffer and keep him. I don't.
Yeah,
but I've never heard of a guy that is borderline to make the cut asking for a trade. That seemed kind of weird to me. Usually, it's someone that's going to get playing time somewhere else. He might be released, so then he has this choice to go wherever someone wants him.
Yeah.
So I know he had a touchdown, but I don't know what the circumstances or what time of game it was in.
His agents made it clear that they want to trade. They've been trying to hold that off until the end, and I'm sure the Jets have been trying to hold off too to make sure there's no injuries to the top 5 guys. So the Jets made it publicly known that, okay, we'll start taking calls. So whether it happens by tomorrow when the 53-man roster is due, I don't think it will. Gun to my head, I think he's going to be traded for a mid-round pick before week 1.
You think someone would give a mid-round pick for a guy that's going to be a 4th or 5th receiver on the team? Where is he going to go where he's going to be in the starting lineup?
I don't know.
Nowhere he's going to go be a starter or even a 3, is he?
No, I think he'll have to fight for a 3 or 4. And I think there's a team out there like Matt Rule. There's reports because he coached Mims in college for Carolina. So there's reports maybe they're interested. If I had to guess, I'd say a 4th round pick. But
what about across town? Would he fit in with the Giants? I mean, what's their depth as far as receivers?
They could use a receiver, to be honest. I mean, they have Sills, who I was at the joint practice last week, and he's getting a lot of playing time, and he could be bumped down maybe 1 or 2 spots. So Mims, that would be an interesting situation.
Yeah. Ryan, what else do you have besides the Mims question?
They kind of got at it with the Braxton Berrios question. I was going to go that route as well. Like, I guess one question I have is, was there a moment in your career that you felt like, wow, I'm a fan favorite? Because it feels like you're probably, if not the most loved Jet, like one of the top like 3 or 4. Was there a moment in your career that you kind of felt that?
That's a good question.
How about the first day? How about the first day when the security guard didn't think you were a player? Was that loving?
Harry Fisher, that's my guy, man. We had a lot of good talks over the years when he was there, and he passed away. He's in his 90s a handful of years ago, but I don't know. I guess you could say that started with the media articles. It wasn't like something I noticed from the fans. The fans were always supportive, we're rooting for you kind of thing. But I guess just once I started playing, and even though we're losing, I still, kept getting good press and good, and just the articles they did about, and just saying, the hometown hero, went to Hofstra, grew up 15 minutes away from the stadium. And then it kind of grew from there. I think when you're on a team that wins 1 win or 3 wins, it's not hard to stand out. You know what I mean? I mean, at that point, guys just kind of like cashing in. I'm like, I'm playing for a job. I'm playing for my livelihood. I'm playing for my spot. So that year, I think people just appreciated, they spend their hard-earned money on tickets that I was giving them something to cheer about. So I think people took notice of it. And it's funny, when I was in the Roosevelt Field Mall, I don't know anybody's from Long Island, and we're walking, and there was like a sports store, and there's a number 80 in the window. And I'm with my wife, who's my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, you see that? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, go see what it is. She's like, you go. I'm like, I'm not going to see it. Because you see the front of it. I'm like, who else can it be? You know what I mean? So we went and saw it, and I was like, all right, I have a jersey in a sport Modell's or what it is. So I've officially arrived. But a funny story is I was in bad neighborhood. I don't know if it was Harlem or Washington Heights or whatever it is, my rookie year, like early. And we're driving to do a radio spot. And I see this young black kid with number 80 jersey walking. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, you know what I mean? I hadn't seen a jersey really yet. So me and my dad are thinking Johnny Lamb Jones. That's probably the only 80 that I remember, And the kid turned around. I was like, no shit. I'm like, that's pretty awesome. So to know the fact that you get someone on a Harley to someone in a Ferrari, they're both wearing my jersey, black, white, young, old, whatever, that was wearing my jersey. I knew, that I had that fan base where I guess they called me like everyman kind of thing. So at that point, I knew, I had the support of the fans, and that helped me get through those early years when things were tough. And then it just grew as my career went.
Yeah, from the woods of Vernon, New Jersey to Harlem, New York.
I'm telling you, man, is a trip. Starting to see my jersey places. I know my parents and agent printed up a bunch of terrible knockoffs from China or something like that. Yeah. Just bad jerseys. But they had a tailgate called the Society of True Believers. They're like a big thing, and they were selling jerseys. But yeah, I mean, I'm grateful. I mean, not many fans, take the players like that, and that's why I like doing stuff like this and staying involved with the fans, because they kind of made me who I was.
Here's a question: have you ever been dropped into lyrics in a rap song? Like Beastie Boys mentioned John Starks once, Lawrence Taylor. Do you
I'm in a song. I am in a song.
Which one? Who?
Some like Ja Rule or something like that.
Oh, really?
I've heard it. It's not like a mainstream song, but I heard it. It's like Catching Pass, like Wayne Chrebet or something like that.
The Elf movie.
My son
an Elf too, for sure.
What's that?
Elf, when the kid wearing number 80 in Elf.
Yeah, that, listen, that's pretty, we saw that too. I was like, this kid, it looks like 80, when he's wearing it. And, you've arrived when you're in a Will Ferrell movie that is as popular as like The Christmas Story on TV during the holiday season. So stuff like that's a trip to me. Like I said, I'm grateful that, people want to wear my jersey. I've seen it on the cover, like with Jay-Z wearing it and Puff Daddy wearing it. So you've arrived when those guys, want to sport your number. But like I said, I still get letters and messages from all over the world. There's a lot of Jet fans out there all over the world, so you guys know you're not by yourself with the suffering and then with the good times. So we're all grateful that you keep supporting the team. We know there's been some tough years.
Yep. All right, let's go around the horn to cap things off. I'm going to ask for your favorite Wayne Chrebet moment. You just got to give one. You can't go more than one, and then we'll see what comes from it. Liz, favorite Wayne Chrebet moment.
He already knows the answer to this, and I have to tell you, going back to the Wayne Chrebet jersey, everybody asked me when I was crowned last year, October the 8th, as the 2021 NFL New York Jets Fan of the Year, if I knew. And even my daughter was like, "Mom, you sure you didn't know?" I said, "There's no way in the world I would ever be wearing a Mark Sanchez jersey if I knew Wayne Chrebet was going to come out and tell me I was Fan of the Year. Never in a million years." And I just grabbed one because it was big enough, because I gained a little weight and it fit me the best. And I knew I was going over to Florham Park. And that was what I was wearing. And I was mortified when he came out and I was wearing Mark Sanchez. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, meeting Wayne, being, I've crowned myself as president of his fan club on Facebook, if everybody wants to join. And just meeting him and seeing what an all around great, genuine, nice person he is, who makes me feel like I'm the only person in the room when I talk to him. That's the greatest moment I ever had. And not putting aside the unbelievable career you've had, but for me, that was my all-time greatest moment.
You know what's funny is the way I am. I said to the Jets, people that brought me in there, the marketing team. I'm like, so should they just walk up to her and say hello to her? And I'm thinking, like, it would be really embarrassing if she didn't recognize me. You know what I mean? So I walk up behind you and I just put my arms around you, and you looked at me like kind of excited and terrified at the same time.
On a cloud.
You could see it on YouTube. It's on there. Me surprising you, but we're good friends now. I'm glad it meant enough, as much to you as it did to me. So it's I appreciate your fandom and you starting the Wayne Chrebet fan club on Facebook.
Awesome. 11,000 views on YouTube, and I've tried to watch it at work to up the number, but it it's called Wayne Chrebet Surprises Fan of the Year on YouTube. So It's an awesome video.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I found some lyrics here. Artist Gora F. Big Shug, Hannibal Stack. I'm not familiar. I got to be honest. And get yourself $2 from my wallet. I'm gonna catch passes from chicks like Wayne Chrebet. There you go. Lyrics in a rap song. All right, Joe Rivera, favorite Chrebet moment.
So my father is a man of very, very little emotion, except when he's watching Jets football. And I still very, very clearly remember the Curtis Martin throw to you, obviously, in the Tampa Bay game. And that's watching him jump off the couch and knowing my uncle, who's a Giants fan, the entire week after that was it's one of my favorite, just all time one of my favorite Jets memories. So that's the one that sticks out to me the most. But not to cop out, but anytime you'd go over the middle and put your body on the line, I mean, you don't see that. You just don't see that from every player in the NFL. So and the reaction to that touchdown in the Tampa game, because
the camera calls touchdown before I even catch it.
Yeah,
like the ball's coming down and he says touchdown Wayne Chrebet, and it was like kind of like my best. Some of my best. If you ever fuck, I Google myself. Not gonna lie, or on YouTube I see what people are posting. And they have some cool mixes and stuff like that to music. But hearing Bob with Susan, announce me going for a touchdown or a catch or something like that is crazy. And that goes back to the announcers. How many people remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger said, Wayne Chrebet is going to lead us back?
That was going to be my
miracle.
Yeah.
What's that?
That was going to be my favorite moment right there to cap things off. The Arnold thing.
Stuff like that is hysterical, man. You can't write that stuff.
Yeah. All right. Tim, what do you got?
There's a lot of moments, but I just, I always remember the fact that you never wore gloves. All the other receivers had gloves, and you were just so gritty and tough and, not afraid to go across the middle and, no gloves, just free hands. And, that always sticks with me as a memory.
Yeah. Parcells made you wear gloves though at times, right?
Nah, it just got to the point where my hands got so beat up, and I had like Raynaud syndrome, which is you got circulation problems. So at certain points I had to put them on end of the year, but I just like the feel of, bare hands on the ball. Just listen, you guys could throw on these receiver gloves these days and catch one-handed.
It's absurd.
I promise you. These things are, my kid, wears them sometimes. They're so sticky.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like back then, Newmans we had were leather.
Yeah.
And the colder they got, the worse they were. But the receiver gloves these days, I don't know, man.
And I even think these gloves are making tackling worse too, because it's easier to tackle with your hands.
This is like Fred Bolitnikoff designed these things with the glue he had on his socks.
Yeah.
But I just like that, people, something so silly, people appreciated the whole no gloves thing because it kind of like brought people back to when they didn't even have gloves,
Mm-hmm. All right, Jeff Piazza.
So I have to say, I don't think I know the exact year, but I was probably around 9 or 10 years old. We were playing Green Bay, and you caught like a game-sealing touchdown. I mean, you're kicking the crap out of them pretty much. And I just remember you running in the end zone with your hand up and watching the game with my father. And I think that moment there, I became true Jets fan. That was it. There was no turning back then. And then I was addicted.
I think that was the second touchdown, or it was the moment where everyone knew, like, okay, we could exhale. They got this.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I'd never forget it.
Yeah, they have it on. Someone put it on my Twitter feed. When I catch it, it's like a little quick out, and Chad kind of threw me, and I just broke back in. But as I'm scoring the touchdown, I know my arm's near, and I'm screaming at like the top of my lungs. And if you remember that, like my mouth is wide open, I'm just screaming. But that just was the emotion of the day. Like I said, just, knowing we just won the AFC East. That's what you play for. You get a chance to go to the playoffs. But winning the East that's a huge thing with some of the teams that are in our division.
All right, Anthony, do your thing.
I can think of when I was like 6 or 7 and just starting to watch football. You had a big game against the Rams. Like you're like a rookie, and I was like, the team wasn't very good right then, and I was like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. But the one that stands out more vividly is the Monday Night Miracle. But you had that diving catch, and I wasn't allowed to stay up late to watch Monday night games, and my dad allowed me to do it that night, and he picked a good night to do it because I got to watch you guys come back. But just that diving catch, I think kind of sums up just you guys just did not quit as a group. You never really quit ever when you're on the field. So it just kind of sums it up. But yeah,
I think that's the one that tied it up when we came back.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, if you ever watch the play, when I'm running down the field, I'm running like this. And Vinny throws it, and it's over here. So I'm running, and I'm going like this. I had a choice to go straight down the field or break to the corner. And I was running straight down the field, and Vinny just threw it to the corner. So at that point, I had to adjust. That's why I ended up diving at such a weird angle. But it was just one of those plays. At that point, we went from we can't do nothing right to we can't do nothing wrong from after the third quarter. And that's the greatest feeling in the world. And we talk about crowd noise. Whoever stayed and whoever left and came back, the bottom bowl of the stadium was full, but it was insane. The fans were going nuts. I'm sure they were all drunk from drowning their sorrows, but then they were drinking more to celebrate. But as far as that catch you're talking about, yeah, it was one they show a lot in the highlights, and one me and Vinny talk about all the times on how we're not on the same page, but we had a great result from it.
Yeah, good one, Anthony. Ryan, I think you're the last person, correct? So take us home.
Yeah, that was the Tampa one was really cool. That the catch there, especially, I remember just being so frustrated that we didn't have Keyshawn and like, oh, screw that guy. I was like, I want to win this so bad, and then like to see it like happen right at the end was just really cool. But for me, my godfather worked security for you guys at one point, and I want to say you guys were coming out of a hotel in the city, and I was lucky enough to meet you and get your signature on one of my ball caps like 20 years ago. And I wore that thing every single day. Signature was like faded to all hell. I've moved around a little bit the last like 5 years, and I can't for the life of me find that hat. My buddy actually bought me a Wayne Chrebet signed football for my wedding last year. And no joke, it was like the most special gift I ever received. And it was the coolest thing, like really meant a lot to me. So thank you for all the memories.
So get a hat and send it to Robbie, and we'll get, anybody needs anything signed, just get it to Robbie, and I'll get it signed and back to you. Appreciate you guys subscribing and joining me on stuff like this. Another thing I want to add is I just signed a deal with the American Dream Mall, which is on the the complex of the Meadowlands. So after every most of the game, especially the first home game, I'm going to be doing like a post-game tailgate in the mall, one of the barbecue places. So if you guys are at the game, pop over after. It should be a pretty cool thing, So if you guys are around.
Yep. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, everybody. And I'm also going to get you. Wayne just got some to me. Autographed 8x10 pictures. There's 4 different ones to choose from. I'll send you a link and email, and we'll ship them out to you. So sure. Thanks for joining.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Everybody have a good night. All right.
Thank you
so much.
All right, Wayne. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.